Britt here. Welcome to Pink Paper Video. And this is the third part of my mini book mini series. Thank you for those who have lasted out and decided to join me for this part. First, I want to tell you that I know it looks like we started the video in a weird place, but for whatever reason, no matter what I did, about 1 minute and 50 seconds of me decorating the cover page of this album would not render, and I don't know why. I think it just had some sort of corruption in it. Unfortunately, I couldn't go back and remake it because there were supplies I used that aren't in existence anymore except on that piece of paper. So we're just going to move on to page number 2. Here is one of the vellum pages we created in the second video, and I used one of the only large single frame from the DCWV mirrored embellishments line. I went ahead and I attached it with a little bit of 3-in-1 adhesive just to make sure that it wouldn't fall off, considering it wasn't going behind any kind of page protector. And I am putting my first I love you because message, and this one says you are, the R is in the little heart, smart. And those are some Dear Lizzie letters, gold letters from American Crafts. The next page is going to be the only one of this first series of decorated pages that's actually a photo page. And I did this because this is going to be the page that's directly after that vellum page. And I wanted, even if it was very, very faint, which it ends up being pretty faint, I wanted you to be able to look through that vellum paper and see a photo. So I decided to just put this little photo into a front-facing page. Every other photo in the book is on a back-facing page, but this one is a little bit of just a cute special photo that I have always loved of the person who eventually got this book as a Valentine's Day gift. So at this moment, I am realizing that the Tombow tabs that I have used to put the photo mat down are not going to come back up, and I have forgotten to do my stamping on the tag that is underneath it. So I'm gonna stamp this here. It's this Heidi Swap stamp that says I like totally love you, but I only stamped the love you, and it only stamped a little bit. It did stamp enough. It kind of stamped like the outline of it, which was a little weird. So I was able to go back and fill it all in, but that is not because the quality of the stamp. That's because of the quality of me not doing things in the order I should have done them. So there I am, just filling in a couple more little spots that I thought thought still needed some additional work. But it ended up looking exactly like the stamp. It stamped enough that I could see where I needed to go. I also put a little mirrored heart embellishment on there, but it didn't have much more than that because there's going to be about a 2.5 by 1.5 photo that goes on that page. Move on to the next page. This is one of the small rectangle burlap pages. I first attach a puffy sticker by Me and My Big Ideas, a little arrow, that little arrow sticker at the bottom, then that Recollections layered sticker with a letter U. That's one of those Dear Lizzie American Crafts thicker stickers. And then this little square panel is from the Insta Photo Fun pack from DCWV. It's one of the small square journaling ones, and I used some Reminisce sort of tiny type looking stickers, and it says, you are funny. That's my second I love you because. Moving on to the largest page, the middle page, I used a large square in the Instaphoto Fun stack. And these Instaphoto Fun stacks, they come with those large square pages that are kind of the 4x4 or 3x3 or something Insta size. And then they also come with the small squares and sort of a a little rectangle shape. And those each different kind fit inside of the Instaphoto Fun page protectors that go in the small books, which I'm going to do one of those little books, but I wanted to do this, and I just so happened to, those Instaphoto Fun products just came out, and we got quite a few packs of them. So I decided to use them in this album to show that they are versatile for someone who isn't interested in the smaller albums. Sorry about the phone ringing. But from 813267400. Sorry about the phone ringing. It is this page. I did a lot of the lettering off camera, and it says you captured my, and then that is one of the silhouette cuts that says heart. You captured my heart. Then I use one of the small mirrored embellishments and one of the Recollections layered stickers to add some actual hearts to this page. This page has a cool little, one of those cool little tiny embellishment envelopes on it. It's made of craft, and it kind of just has a rounded opening at one end. So I put a little secret message on a piece of paper, and then I layered just a couple little pieces of paper onto each other and put it in the little envelope, and took one of the little Recollections clothespins and pinned it to that page so that she would have sort of an extra little message on that page, since that was kind of a sappy one. This page is my other vellum page. Now you'll see when I go back to decorate the back that it ended up making very little difference whether or not I could see through this particular vellum, because there was so much of the black print on top of it. You could have seen through it, but you couldn't identify anything through it. And once I got to that point, I realized that I really wanted to put just a regular layout on the back of this page. And so there's actually already, even in this shot, a white card that I inset in there so that it would all be the same color. So this page says, "You are strong." And I decide that I'm just going to, I know the photo that I'm going to put across from this, and I know basically where it's going to go on the facing page. So I've taken all of these little tabs and tags and stuff, and I'm going to layer them on top of each other. And I made that one into kind of just this large arrow that had a lot of movement toward the photo that I'm going to put on the opposing page. And I'm just taking all of those and layering them on each other so that it really gives a lot of focus to the spot where I know the photo is going to end up. That chevron paper that I turned into the large arrow is from Candy Cane Lane. And here again, I have a little word that I cut from using my slice, that I cut from some gold TCWV specialty paper, and then the little heart that I put on top of it says sweetheart. So it says, "You are strong, darling sweetheart." The last of the pages that have the messages is going to be this one right here, and this one will eventually say, "You're a warrior." You'll see at the end, I ended up, even though I did do a lot of measuring, and I did actually cut the pages to the size that was going to a proper size to fit inside the box that I made. Once I embellished everything, and some things were like hanging off the sides, and they were uneven, it didn't fit into the box as well. It still fit into the box, it just didn't fit like I wanted it to. So you'll see at the end that I have a little trouble getting it in the box, but ultimately after I made the video, I ended up just cutting down a few of the bigger pages, about a quarter or an eighth of an inch, just to make it a little easier to put it in the box. This is the start. We're going back to the beginning of the book, and we're going to decorate each of the photo pages. So they're going to be the back-facing pages, and they're going to house each of the photos that go along with the "I love you because" sayings. Now here is, I did this 3 times actually. I didn't cut it down, I didn't alter it at all. I just used straight from the pack one of these Instaphoto Fun pages to sort of give those larger pages that I created a little bit of a direction, and I ground them a little bit and kind of shrink the area that your eyes see, so that all of the pages end up looking about the same size, even though the actual page that we made varied pretty greatly in size. And you'll see it in the final, when we look through it at the end, that really did help it have a cohesive look. Every once in a while you just saw one of those pages, one of those pieces of paper that were exactly the same size, exactly the same color scheme. It really helped bring it all together and give it a cohesive look by the end. The other thing I wanted to make sure you knew is that since this was going to be touched a lot, and since it was really acting more like a kind of an elaborate Valentine than a sort of everlasting mini book, I went ahead and I printed my photos on a bright white piece of cardstock, which gave the whole thing a little bit of a retro-y feel. Because you know, when you look back at photos that like come from the 60s and 70s, it was sort of these square and rectangular pieces of little chipboards or cardstocks that had a photo coating over them almost, and they were all black and white photos that were mounted on these thicker pieces of cardstock or paper. And it really gave all the photos that look, which I was very excited about. I thought it made the fact that I used sort of a really classic color scheme, and the fact that I used sort of all of these neutrals and very, very few, I didn't use really any odd colored things. Everything is pretty pink and red if it's not a neutral. And it just gave the whole thing sort of a 1950s, 1960s retro-y photo album feel, which I really, really liked when it was all done. So I just added, this is a photo of the recipient of this album graduating high school, across from the page that said, "You are smart." I went ahead and mounted that photo off camera because there was no other constructing of that page. It was just putting the photo on there. And you'll see that photo more closely at the end because I've added the still photos of the album that I took to post to my blog, and I added them to the end of the video. This page is going across from the "You are funny," and it is a really cute picture of the recipient of the book in a costume, in like an 80s Valley Girl costume, making a funny face. And she really, really, I remember, enjoyed that day. And her silly 80s costume that we did for one of her parents' birthdays. It shows a lot of her silly, funny personality. So I used one of the little tags that says my. That's a DCWV tiny embellishment. And then these little sayings are from, I don't remember who they're from. I'll try to link them in the description. But they say, the whole page says, my quirky, spectacular, be yourself, seriously, fun, loving love. And then I'm just using that Thermoweb die cut adhesive again, and I cut love out of cardstock with my slice. Lastly, I'm going to add a Studio Calico wood veneer heart to the front, and I'm pretty sure that is this page completely done. I really liked the flow of this page. It worked much better than I thought it was when I had it in my mind. Than I thought it would when I had it in my mind. So, yep, that is that page done. And I'll show you here what it looks like next to the You Are Funny. So on the back of You Are Funny is a baby picture of this person. And that sunshine with the big S, I was just showing you that used to be attached to each other. But I just needed the word sunshine, so I decided to go ahead and cut it away from the S and just attach it to the back of the photo. So I cut two 3-inch circles, one of vellum and one out of glitter paper, just to give that background a little color and a little interest, since the photo and the word and the background were all in neutrals. I thought it really needed just a pop of something other than those super neutral colors. This photo is going to go across from the You Captured My Heart page, which I thought was pretty appropriate. You know, babies pretty easily capture anybody's heart, I think, or most people. Another good thing about really, once I printed the photos on the cardstock, I didn't care so much about sticking things over them or sticking things through them. I wasn't worried about the photo longevity as much, because I mean, they are printed on paper. I realized that they're going to fade, and since this was about making something that was meaningful to this person right now, I wasn't so worried about the fact that I knew it was going to fade later. So I was able to take sort of those little push brads and push it through some of the photos and layer things on top that I might normally have avoided doing, which I think added something to the whole album. It made it a little more detail rich. So this page is going actually across from the You Are Strong message. And although that message is a little more serious, this photo is definitely not. We had a Guitar Hero war. She's about 16 or 17 there. And I made them take a bunch of photos during that, and so they insisted that if she and one of our other cousins and my dad and myself were all a part of the war, and they insisted that if I had to take photos of them, they were going to get to put makeup on to make them look like they were warriors, you know, in a battle. So that's why she's making that angry war face and has the war paint on her face because it was a very serious Guitar Hero battle on the Wii. So I'm layering up one of the Recollections doilies, one of the DCWV tags, one of the pink ones, and the Be Awesome is cut from a Instaphoto paper, one of the Instaphoto tags, the rectangle papers, or the large square papers. That's where it's cut from. Then I wanted to add a little more color and a little more interest, so I layered on one of these die cut heart embellishments. Later on you'll see me create one of these because I ended up needing one more. That's actually a fair few number of heart punches that are layered on each other to make a little bit of a thicker embellishment. And then lastly, I just wanted to add some more pattern. So I took one of these brads. It has a sort of a lace pattern on it. It's from the KI Memories brad pack. And I just cut since everything was already attached, I just cut the little back off of the brad and attached it with a glue dot right on top of that tag. Last touch on this page is to show you what it looks like across from the saying, "You are strong, darling sweetheart." And here is the last photo page. Now this page, I ended up covering up that vellum because I realized that I didn't, this particular photo to me was probably the more important one out of all of them, because this is the photo I'm putting on this little page is a senior picture that I took of her, and we went out and I took a whole photo shoot of senior pictures. And although it's not my business to tell anybody else's story, I will say that of anybody I know, she probably, this day to a lot of other kids is just a rite of passage, a thing they know they're going to do, take senior pictures. Getting to that day was a very big triumph for someone who's gone through a lot. And in my mind, this photo was sort of the culmination of, you know, the why I love you, why you deserve to feel loved is that, you know, you made it to this day and you made it past this day. No matter what else is happening, you did this, you accomplished this, and all the things before that and all the things after that and all the things that happened in this moment are all things that make you worthy of love. So this page was the one I wanted to be the most special, and I think it was the layout that I ended up liking the most, actually. You just saw me create that little layered heart embellishment, and that is exactly what all of the other little hearts that look like that, in that color, that look like that, that's exactly how I made all of those other little hearts. And then as I had done through most of the rest of the album, I went ahead and layered the little wood veneer on top of it. And that one went across from "You're a Warrior," which is, there's a song that she really likes called "Warrior" that she identifies with very much. And so I knew if I put that in the album, that would have extra meaning to her, that phrase. On the back, I leave one of this is the other card that I left, the square paper that I left from the Instaphoto fun pack that is the other one that I left whole, and I used specifically one of the journaling versions of those cards so that later on, before I actually gave this album away, I went ahead and I wrote a personal message on the back. So right now I'm just going to show you what the whole thing looks like inside the box, and as you can see there, I just have just a tiny bit of trouble getting it out of the box, so that's why after everything was over with, that I ended up trimming that largest page and then the tag and then the gold striped page. I trimmed them both just a tiny bit so it wouldn't be so hard to get them in and out of the box. And that is the finished album. I had such a fun time making this. I honestly have not enjoyed making a mini album as much as I enjoyed making this one in a really long time. I like that it's finished. I think I learned some things doing this album. I need to go ahead and print out photos and have a reason to make any of these little albums. Sometimes I just make them for samples, and I don't end up liking them as much. And here's some photos so you can get a better idea of what some of the pages look like. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it was a little bit of a longer time between this video and the last, but I hope that it was worth the wait. Please join me on Instagram. I'm at BrittBass85. I post on there all the time. I also am on Twitter. I will put all my social media links in the description box. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Google+, and I'd love for you to join me on any of those sites. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you had a happy Valentine's Day. You have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.